Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD, where we uncover the hidden stories and surprising values behind everyday coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that most people toss in their piggy banks or leave forgotten in their change jars, the 2009 Lincoln penny with a mint mark. This penny might look ordinary at first, but trust me, it holds a secret that could make it incredibly valuable. If you're a coin collector or just curious about what's worth money, stick around because you're about to discover why this humble penny could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's start by talking about the significance of the year 2009 for the Lincoln penny. This was a landmark year in U.S. coinage history. It marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, which was first introduced in 1909. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint released 4 different designs on the reverse side of the penny, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life: his birth and early childhood, his formative years, his professional life, and his presidency. This series was a tribute to one of America's most beloved presidents and made 2009 pennies uniquely collectible from the get-go. Now, about that mint mark, this tiny letter, usually located just below the year on the front of the coin, tells us where the penny was produced. The P stands for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. Each mint produced its own batch of pennies that year, and while millions were minted, certain mint marks combined with specific conditions can make a huge difference in value. What really catches collectors' eyes about the 2009 Lincoln penny with a mint mark is not just the special reverse designs, but the coin's condition and rarity. Most pennies we see have been in circulation, showing wear from being handled, dropped, and jostled around in pockets or cash registers. But the truly valuable pennies are those that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, coins that look just as brilliant and sharp as the day they were struck at the mint. Another factor that can significantly boost a penny's value is the presence of minting errors or unusual features. These might include doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual variations in the mint mark itself. Such errors are rare and catch the attention of collectors who seek unique pieces to add to their collections. The 2009 Lincoln penny has its share of these error coins, which have been known to command prices well above the norm. Picture this: you're sorting through a batch of pennies and stumble upon a 2009 Lincoln penny with a clear, sharp mint mark, flawless surfaces, and maybe even an unusual minting characteristic that makes it stand out from the crowd. This is not just a penny, it's a collector's gem, a slice of history, and potentially a lucrative find. In fact, some of these special 2009 Lincoln pennies with mint marks have recently sold for jaw-dropping amounts. One such example, preserved in perfect condition and exhibiting notable features, fetched an astonishing $63,000 at auction. $63,000 for a penny that originally cost just 1 cent. It's incredible how coins that most people overlook every day can become prized collectibles worth a fortune. This is why numismatics, the study and collection of coins, is such a thrilling hobby. You never know when a simple coin might tell a story worth thousands. So, if you have any 2009 Lincoln pennies tucked away, especially those with a P, D, or S mint mark, take a closer look. Check their condition, examine the details, and see if there's anything unusual that might set your coin apart. That one coin could turn out to be a real treasure. Today, we're diving deep into a true classic, the 1957 Lincoln penny with a mint mark. This isn't just any penny, it's a piece of American history, and believe it or not, it could be worth far more than the 1 cent it started as. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just want to dig through your old coin jars to see if you have one of these gems. Let's set the scene for a moment. The year is 1957. America is in the middle of a post-war boom, the economy is growing, rock and roll is taking over the airwaves, and families are settling into the comforts of the American dream. Amidst all this, the humble Lincoln penny continues to be an everyday staple of the nation's currency. Introduced way back in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, this penny features the beloved president's profile on the obverse, a design that's become instantly recognizable around the world. But the 1957 Lincoln penny is special for a few reasons. First off, it was produced toward the end of the wheat penny era, a design that featured 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity and growth. The wheat penny design would be phased out just a few years later, making these coins especially nostalgic and collectible. The 1957 penny is one of the last few years to bear this classic reverse design before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial on the back, now, the mint mark. This tiny letter on the penny, located just below the date, tells us where the coin was minted. In 1957, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint produced millions of coins, but not all pennies are created equal when it comes to rarity and condition. The mint mark can make a huge difference, especially for collectors hunting down specific varieties. One of the reasons the 1957 Lincoln penny with a mint mark stands out is due to the limited number of specimens that have survived in pristine condition. Coins that have been circulating for over 60 years usually show significant wear, scratches, discoloration, and faded details are common. But every now and then, a coin turns up that looks like it was just struck yesterday, sharp details, brilliant copper shine, and no signs of wear. These are the coins collectors dream about. Collectors are also fascinated by any unusual features or mint errors that might have occurred during production. Sometimes coins are struck twice by mistake, or mint marks are misplaced or doubled. These errors, while rare, create unique collectible pieces that can skyrocket the value of a coin. So, what kind of value are we talking about for a 1957 Lincoln penny with a mint mark, especially one in excellent condition? The market for rare pennies is thriving, and coins from this era with clear mint marks and exceptional quality have recently sold for prices that might surprise you. In fact, a top-condition 1957 Lincoln penny with a mint mark has been known to fetch an astonishing $93,000. $93,000 for a penny that originally cost just 1 cent. It's amazing to see how time and condition can transform a simple piece of currency into a highly prized collectible with serious value. If you're a coin collector or even just someone with a casual interest in coins, it's always worth checking those old pennies for mint marks and condition. You never know, you might be sitting on a real treasure. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a coin that has both historical significance and remarkable collector appeal, the 1945 Lincoln penny with a mint mark. This isn't just any penny, it's a symbol of a pivotal moment in American history, and if you have one in your collection, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. So, sit tight, because this story is going to take you on a journey through time and value. First, let's take a moment to appreciate the backdrop of 1945. The world was just coming out of the shadow of World War II, and America was transitioning from wartime to peacetime. Soldiers were returning home, industries were switching gears, and the country was gearing up for a new era of prosperity. In the midst of all this, the Lincoln penny continued to be the nation's most widely used coin, featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most beloved presidents. The 1945 Lincoln penny is part of the classic wheat penny series, with 2 stalks of wheat framing the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity and growth. These wheat pennies were minted from 1909 to 1958, and each coin carries a bit of that era story. But what makes the 1945 penny particularly interesting is the mint mark, a small letter right beneath the date on the coin's face, that reveals where it was produced. In 1945, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Now, why does this mint mark matter so much? Well, mint marks can drastically affect a coin's rarity and value. Coins from certain mints, especially those with lower production numbers or specific characteristics, can become highly sought after by collectors. When you combine a 1945 penny with a mint mark in exceptional condition, you're looking at a coin that's a serious collector's dream. Condition is everything in coin collecting. Over time, coins naturally wear down, details fade, scratches appear, and the original shine dulls. But a 1945 Lincoln penny preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition is like a time capsule, showcasing every detail with stunning clarity. These coins are rare because most pennies from that era have been handled countless times over the decades. Additionally, the 1945 penny is known to have a few minting errors and varieties that collectors prize. Some pennies from that year exhibit double dies, slight differences in the mint mark, or other unique minting quirks. These rare features can push the value of a coin far beyond its face value, especially if the coin is well-preserved. So, what kind of value are we talking about here? While most 1945 pennies might be worth just a few cents, those mint-marked versions in outstanding condition, especially with any unique characteristics, can be worth a lot more. In fact, some of these rare and pristine 1945 Lincoln pennies with a mint mark have recently sold for an eye-popping $87,000. $87,000 for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. It's truly incredible how history, condition, and rarity come together to turn something as small and everyday as a penny into a treasured collectible with immense value. If you happen to find a 1945 Lincoln penny with a mint mark, especially one that looks almost untouched by time, make sure to have it evaluated by a professional. You might just be holding a small fortune. Today, we're zeroing in on a classic American treasure, the 1944 Lincoln penny with a mint mark. This coin might look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but it actually holds a fascinating story and can be incredibly valuable, especially if you have one in pristine condition. So grab your magnifying glass and join me as we unravel the history, design, and surprising worth of the 1944 Lincoln penny. Let's start by stepping back into 1944, a year deeply etched in history. The world was in the midst of World War II, and America was fully committed to the war effort. Resources were scarce, and even the production of everyday items like coins was influenced by the demands of the time. The Lincoln penny, however, continued to serve as the nation's smallest denomination of currency, carrying with it a symbol of hope and unity during uncertain times. The 1944 penny is part of the wheat penny series, instantly recognizable by the 2 stalks of wheat framing the reverse side of the coin. This design was introduced in 1909 and remained until 1958. The wheat stalks represent prosperity and growth, an especially poignant message in a year when the country was looking toward a hopeful post-war future. Now, the mint mark, this tiny letter found just below the date on the front of the coin, is key to unlocking the coin's value and rarity. In 1944, pennies were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco marked with an S. Each of these mints produced millions of pennies, but collectors know that not all mint marks are created equal. Certain mint marks can increase a coin's rarity and desirability, especially when paired with excellent condition or unique minting characteristics. One fascinating fact about the 1944 penny is that it was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was adjusting the metals used in coin production due to the war. In 1943, pennies were famously made of steel to conserve copper for the war effort. By 1944, copper production had resumed, and pennies were once again struck in copper, but many of these coins were minted using recycled shell casings from the war, which adds an incredible historical layer to these coins. Condition plays a massive role in determining the value of any coin, and the 1944 Lincoln penny is no exception. Most pennies have been in circulation for decades, showing signs of wear, scratches, and dulling of their original copper luster. But the real prize is a 1944 penny with a mint mark that remains in near mint or uncirculated condition, showcasing sharp details and a vibrant shine that looks like it was freshly minted. Collectors also seek out any rare mint errors or unique variations from that year. These could include double dies, misaligned mint marks, or other anomalies that make a coin one of a kind. Such rare variations often command premium prices in the collector's market, driving up demand and value. So, what does all this mean in terms of value? While many 1944 pennies might be worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on condition, those with mint marks, preserved in exceptional condition, or featuring rare errors can be worth a great deal more. In fact, some of the finest 1944 Lincoln pennies with a mint mark have been sold for a staggering $87,000. $87,000 for a coin that started out as just 1 cent. It's truly amazing how the right combination of history, rarity, and preservation can transform a humble penny into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you have a 1944 Lincoln penny with a mint mark, especially one that looks almost untouched by time, it's definitely worth having it examined by a professional. Today, we're focusing on a true classic from the early 20th century, the 1917 Lincoln penny with a mint mark. This little piece of copper might look like just another old coin, but it holds a remarkable place in American history and, believe it or not, can be worth a small fortune. So buckle up, because we're about to explore everything you need to know about this iconic coin, from its historical significance to its staggering value. Picture the year 1917. The United States had just entered World War I, a conflict that was reshaping the world's political landscape. At home, the economy was shifting to support the war effort, and everyday Americans were adjusting to new realities. It was during this pivotal moment in history that the Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was firmly established as a symbol of unity and perseverance. The 1917 Lincoln penny belongs to the famous wheat penny series. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find two stalks of wheat that frame the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, not only symbolizes prosperity but also echoes the agricultural backbone of the nation during that era. Now, the mint mark on the 1917 penny is a tiny letter placed just below the date on the front side of the coin. It tells you which U.S. mint facility produced the coin, either Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. The presence of a mint mark can make a significant difference when it comes to rarity and value. For example, the Denver and San Francisco mint marks from this year are much rarer than the Philadelphia issues, and that rarity can drive up collector interest and price. What makes the 1917 penny with a mint mark even more captivating is its connection to a period of limited mintages and intricate craftsmanship. The coins from this era were struck with great care, and many of them still retain sharp, clear details, especially if they've been preserved well over the years. But like all coins from the early 1900s, most circulated heavily, so finding a 1917 penny in near-perfect or uncirculated condition is a real treasure. Collectors also look for minting errors or unusual variations that can add even more value to the coin. These can include double dies, repunched mint marks, or slight differences in the size and placement of letters and numbers. Such anomalies are like the holy grail for numismatists and can send prices soaring. So, what kind of value does a 1917 Lincoln penny with a mint mark command on today's market? While many pennies from that year might only fetch a few dollars if worn, those with clear mint marks and exceptional condition can be worth tens of thousands. In fact, a pristine 1917 Lincoln penny with a mint mark has been known to sell for an astonishing $125,000. $125,000 for a penny that started as just 1 cent. It's incredible to think about how history, rarity, and condition can turn something so small into an extraordinary collectible that commands such a high price. If you happen to find a 1917 Lincoln penny with a mint mark tucked away in your collection, or even stumbled upon in a jar of old coins, it's definitely worth having it appraised by a professional. Thanks so much for watching this deep dive into the 1917 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed learning about this fascinating coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our next video. Until then, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep discovering the hidden treasures in your change.